So in this segment, we're going to be discussing who let Tony Blair cook, honestly.
And by the way, if you do end up trying to do this, is what we've done with Brexit, what's the result? We've now got higher levels of immigration than ever before, and we've swapped out usually single people coming from Europe, as I say, to work in things like the hospitality sector, for families from Asia and Africa. I mean, how has this helped us?
Yeah, even the interview looks a bit shocked there. And again, like, you know, people did come over from Europe with their families as well. Like, it wasn't just single people. And, you know, one of the benefits I think single people had from Europe is they could just come here and work. They wouldn't need like a visa or anything like that predominantly. It's only a few of the newer members of the EU that I think needed a visa. So the reason they could do that was because of freedom of movement, which I guess he's trying to say getting rid of freedom of movement hasn't helped. But the way he's phrased it seems a bit racist, to be honest with you. This is the clip that's more important, which is he fundamentally doesn't understand centrist politics. And this kind of this tweet here from this goon saying the best defense of centrist politics I've ever heard in a long time. He's so good at this stuff. This is one of the dumbest statements I've ever heard, genuinely.
I just want to kind of zoom out because I've been looking at the UK, and I think it is important to look at, you know, the global picture that we see as well. Because it does feel like that we're seeing an awful lot of, I guess I would describe them as kind of like strong man, kind of macho leaders, like a kind of rise of populism. Is that something that you are worried about, relaxed about? What do you think?
No, I am worried about it, but you've got to understand why it's happening. And it happens when you don't have a strong centre that's delivering.
No, it's when you have a government that doesn't deliver. You know, look at America when they elected Trump. You know, the economy wasn't doing great for a lot of people. You know, you didn't just have racists that vote for him. There were some, but you had two-time Obama voters who voted for Trump because the system wasn't working for them. You know, this argument of it's when the centre, you need a strong centre. Obama was a centrist. You know, if anything, he was centre-right or, you know, potentially right-wing on certain issues, depending on which political spectrum you're using, a European one or an American one. You know, this argument of, you know, centrism delivers or a strong centre is what we need is fundamentally not true.
And people often think of, you know, because I get criticised for being a centrist, which I'm perfectly happy to own up to, but it's the centre is not the mushy middle between left and right. It should be the place of solutions. I mean,
but that's the thing, though. Anyone can offer you solutions. Any party can offer solutions. You know, Stalin offered solutions to the problems within Russia. Was he a centrist? You know, Trump offered solutions to the stuff in America. Was he a centrist?
The truth of the matter is today, and this will, as this technology revolution progresses, by the way, it's become more and more so, you're going to have politics is going to be much more fragmented. You're not going to have the same loyalty vote that you used to have. People will make up their minds as they did in the last election. You know, you've got a splintering of political parties. And the other thing that's going to happen is that people are, if there are grievances...
You know, what we're seeing is arguably not a party in Starmer's Labour, which is more to the right, is arguably more centre-right than Tony Blair's was anyways. So the idea we need a strong centre, we've had, you know, centre-right party under Cameron, which didn't deliver. So was he part of the strong centre? I would argue so. You had Tony Blair, who did improve things, albeit under the real haze of the PFI contracts, which was a complete disaster, despite the fact that they could have just increased government borrowing and it would have been much, much better. You know, they gave birth to who? Boris Johnson, the populist. You know, what fails, you know, centrism isn't the thing that stops populism. It's delivering for ordinary people. Delivering for ordinary people and making sure that, you know, you don't push racist policies, especially when you're doing badly in the polls. That's what will help.
They are going to expect you to deal with them. And the centre has got to be the place that you deal with them. If you're simply sitting there trying to manage the situation or say, well, this group's extreme, that group's extreme, that's not going to work. So I've got a, you know, very, very clear sense of this, that in the end, if you want to defeat this sort of strongman populism, you defeat it by the solutions.
Yeah, you know, solutions. But again, like, you know, just arguing that centrism is about solutions rather than anything else, complete stupidity. You know, when Lenin implemented the new economic policy back in Russia, allowing some free markets, despite the fact that he's a diehard communist, was he a centrist when he did that? Or was he a pragmatist? What he's conflating is pragmatism with centrism, which is not true. It's, you know, being pragmatic is going kind of somewhat against your ideals to find a solution that you might not necessarily ideologically believe in. At least that's kind of my definition, more pragmatism, trying to find the best solutions regardless of ideology. But, you know, when you look at what he did regarding trying to get schools more funding or hospitals more funding, he did PFI contracts. That's not. That's really, I think, I would argue, a right-wing solution of giving public money to private companies to run things. That's a very right-wing solution. So, you know, that wasn't very, you know, what we would call kind of centrist kind of economics, I would argue. This is a complete joke of a human being, to be honest with you. You know, this is a guy who lives within the 90s and said, you know, looked at Bill Clinton and saw, oh yeah, the left and the right, I'm above that, bro. I'm in the middle. You know, I look at some policies from the right that are good and some from the left, and that's how I make my my solutions, my conclusions. It's just silly. You know, who let this man cook? You know, can we just leave them in the 2000s? I know Oasis have come back, but can we just leave them both in the bin of the 2000s, to be honest with you? But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Support the channel on Patreon if you can. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.